Welcome to another edition of RCE. Again, this is Brock Palin. You can find us online in our complete back catalog at rce-cast.com. You can also find links to Jeff and mine's Twitter, our blogs, and all that usual fun stuff. Also, I have again Jeff Squires from Cisco Systems and one of the authors of OpenMPI. Jeff, thanks a lot for your time.
Hey, Brock, how you doing? Good season here. We're just post supercomputing and post the American Thanksgiving holiday and so on. So we're back into the swing again, recording some more podcasts.
Yeah, and so we have one more comment. Also, I need to apologize. I dropped into your OpenMPI State of the Union at Supercomputing for like 5 minutes and then turned around and left to go to something else.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed that. I was like, oh, there's Brock. Oh, there goes Brock.
Yeah,
so sad.
Yeah. Well, you were nice enough to put your slide deck out on the mailing list, so that's available out there so everyone can get their OpenMPI updates and what's coming in the next version.
Sweet.
Okay, so let's go into our guest for today. Our guest today is Thomas Sohmers, and he's going to speak to us about Open Compute. So, Thomas, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Thomas Sohmers, founder, CEO of Rex Computing, and we're developing new HPC-focused processor solutions. And so as part of Open Compute, we started the group back in July, and I'm project co-lead along with Devashish Paul from Integrated Device Technologies. And we're trying to push HPC into be more open and kind of bring that into the more data center and server-focused Open Compute project area.
Okay, can you give us a little bit of background on what Open Compute is? Most people, if they have heard of it, they probably associate it with Facebook or somebody like that, not someone you normally think of as being high-performance computing. So can you give us a little bit of background?
Yeah, so Open Compute was originally started by Facebook, and the general premise of it is to what Facebook originally did is that they donated their internal custom server designs, so that both includes the mechanical, the racks, the blades, how they're connecting them all together, and new motherboard designs and everything. And they contributed that. They started the foundation. They donated it to the foundation, and got a group from Intel, Goldman Sachs, Rackspace, and a couple other companies initially, and they came together and said it's better for us consumers of technology to actually define things that we need to have, and if we design our own stuff internally, to make that available so that everyone can use that as a base and contribute to making those things better. So the real goal initially, and has been up to now, is to make more efficient data centers and server systems. And we, in the HPC world, think that that's a pretty good idea and something that would be very beneficial for HPC users and HPC system manufacturers. And we want to bring that to the group.
So you just say there about how it started and what some of its initial goals are, and some of those you said are the ongoing goals. But really, if you could put it in terms of, what is the 10-year goal? What is the 5-year goal of OCP? I mean, what do you see as down the road, more than just making designs for hardware available?
Yeah, so the up until today, I would say that has been the primary goal, with the base principle for the long-term viability of it is that these open designs would cover enough of the different parts of the data center that if, some complete new startup, wants to build their own data center, they could take all of the pieces from Open Compute and go to some contract manufacturer, or the idea is that the contract manufacturers would already be making Open Compute specific designs, and those would be cheaper than the proprietary HP or Dell or whatever systems out there. And that startup would just be able to take all open standard items and bring that and roll that and put it together, and based on the actual specifications would know exactly how everything goes together and make sure that it works. And then if they have some new innovation that they've been able to improve something for whatever specific task that they're doing, that they can then contribute that to the community so that others would also be able to benefit from it. Now, the longer term goal, which is now starting to develop actually with the HPC group, is most of what Open Compute has been up to today has been related to mechanical, and at the lowest level being your Gerbers for your actual motherboards. And what we're trying to do with HPC is bring that deeper into new networking at a silicon level. So up to now, networking, it's been taking whatever off the shelf, 10 gig, 40 gig, whatever is out there, and then throwing that on a board. While with the HPC group, because of HPC demands for low latency and high bandwidth, where we want to focus on trying to bring basically covering all of the areas that Open Compute does right now, and focusing on the specific needs of HPC. In addition to, instead of just doing the mechanical layers, we want to go all the way down to silicon.
So you've kind of touched on them a little bit, because I have a little bit of familiarity with OCP, but what are the big components of Open Compute that consist of the stack, and what are, especially focus on the primarily different ones than you could say like the commodity world uses right now?
Yeah, so with Open Compute, it's not just one set standard. So the Facebook standard is called OpenRack, and Microsoft back in January donated their own version, which is very different. They updated that this past October, but there's no really one set standard. The idea is that the project allows anyone to contribute anything, and people can pick from that what they want to have. So for the major groups that is part of Open Compute, there's storage, networking, server design, Open Racks, certification, hardware management, and the data center groups. And each one is focused on accepting and reviewing submissions for their specific areas.
Okay, so I actually got to see one vendor's implementation of OCP server and rack. And one interesting thing was the rack was a different size, and it used Busbar DC power in the back. Is that like a standard thing, or is that just like what part of the community is looking at?
I would say that that's the majority. So that's the Open Rack design that Facebook initially contributed. For what we're doing with the HPC group, we're taking that primarily as a base. But just the one thing I want to point out is that that's not a restriction. There are other contributions of different designs for your racks and how blades and such. So, but yeah, the basics are the Open Rack is 21 inches wide compared to your standard 19 inch, and it has AC power dumped into it, and has a bus bar, 3 different bus bars in the back to distribute power to the all of the blades.
So let me ask a dumb question. I'm sorry, I'm a software guy. What's a bus bar?
Yeah, so a bus bar is just a metal bar in the back, which is the actual power connectors. When you slide that into the rack, connect to it, and that's what distributes power to it. So one of the neat designs with Open Rack is that for the full size unit, you have 3 what are called power zones in the actual spec, and those 3 power zones